Hello Junior Strings, here we are again making music online, but that's still better than doing nothing, isn't it? We're going to play two pieces this time. One of them is for strings only and the other one will be with the Junior Concert Band. The piece that we're going to play on our own is called Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. This is a piece that was written back in something like 1850 and it's an African American song and it was in the time of slavery. It's quite famous and it has been used for lots and lots of films and you might know the tune. It's actually quite a good thing to know the words because it will help us with the rhythm. The piece is in 4/time, 4 beats in a bar, and it starts with a 4-bar introduction. First violins, you have to count carefully for this because you've got long notes. Second violins, you're going to do the start of the tune, then the viola comes in with the next bit of the tune and the cellos for the last bit. So if you think of it as nobody knows the trouble I've seen, nobody knows the trouble I've seen, that will help us with getting the rhythm. You'll see when you hear it how it works. When we get to letter A, after the introduction, the first violins have the tune, but second violins, you're very much like them. You've just got slight changes in rhythm, but more or less the same thing. So that's really helpful. Cellos, you've got some long notes at that stage. Then there's a really rather nice little bit of harmony for the cellos to do. You've got a G, F, E, E flat, sort of G, F, E, E flat. Of course, that's in your bass clef, much deeper than I've played then. When we get to letter B, all the upper strings have to play quavers slightly off the string. Now, we like to do this in the lower part of your bow, and when you're doing the lower part of the bow, you need to balance carefully with your little finger. Do you see how I'm doing that? And so you'll be doing... If you can't quite manage taking the bows off, just stop the bow. Eventually, when you're a bit more advanced, you'll be able to lift the bow off like a banana shape, like that. But for now, if that's too hard, just stop the bow so that we get a dotted feeling to it. Okay, and while you're doing that, the cellos have got the tune. So we mustn't play too loudly because that would hide the cellos and we don't want to do that. They would get very cross. Let us see, it's back to the tune again in the violins and it's the same rhythm. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Okay, quick, slow, quick, slow, quick, 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 slow, slow. Okay, and that happens for a while. Then we get to letter D and first violins carry on with a tune, but seconds and violas will do that short quaver figure again. Right, then I'm getting through this very quickly because a lot of it is the same. But then at letter E, we have it like the introduction. It goes back to that feeling. And it finishes 3 bars before the end with a lovely little bit of cello all on their own. Okay, and finally we finish with a long, soft note. Now, if I was conducting, that would be so easy because you would follow and I would do a down and you would play and you'd come off when I gave a little sweep like that. But of course, we have to listen to the click track. So we'll all have to count our 1, 2, 3, 4 off. And when you come off, it would be really nice if you could be very gentle and not do a slow bow and then at the end do a bit of a click so that it's like a kick in the pants. You know, we have to be very careful as we come off the bow. Just lighten the bow as you leave it like that. So you'll see how it works when we do the piece on together. The piece we're doing with the others, with the concert band, is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Now, you all know this tune, so that's good. The problem for us is that when we play with wind and brass players, they prefer flat keys, and we prefer sharp keys. But as you're all quite good and you've all got to grade 2 standard at least, you all know B flat. So we are going to play in F major, which means we're going to have a B flat. Again, this piece starts with 2 bars of introduction, and in the second bar we will slow down quite a lot before the tune starts. So you'll have to listen to the recording to know how slow we have to make it. The first violins have got yum, pum, pum, pum. Again, just slightly stopping the bow before we do the next note. And the second violins have got yum, pum, 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 pum. Now, when we get to the tune in the third bar, now those of you who are more advanced, if you're playing first violin, would you like to try second position? Because we have to play from an F to an F. Now that works really nicely in second position. If you put your first finger on the lower F and your fourth finger on the top F on the A string, you don't have to cross over strings. If you're finding that really too hard, you'd have to jump and play the first F on the D string and the second F on the E string, and that's not ideal. In some ways, second position is easier. We'll talk about that again. Then we have a repeat. So we play the tune, and after the first 8 bars, 10 bars it is, we'll be going, 8 bars, we'll be going back to repeat. Then when we get to the second time bar, that the first violins will be doing da 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 da. Now, did I say that's the first violin, and the second violins will always have a rest at the beginning of the bar. Ta ya da, da ya da. So be careful of that. Right, now the cellos are mostly doing long notes, but you have got some really interesting harmonies every now and then. There's one in bar 18 where you go A, G sharp, G natural. So that's actually rather nice. You put in some lovely harmonies there for us. Okay. So often the cellos have a very boring part, but I don't think this is too boring, so you'll be happy with that. So as we go along, sometimes the second violins have some interesting harmonies. There's one in bar 23 where you go G, F, E. So you'll be the interesting interest for that bit. Okay, you all know this tune, so I'm hopeful that we will find it quite straightforward. There is only one catch. Towards the end, having been in 4 beats in a bar, we've got a 2-beat bar. So we're going along da da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee pom. So you've got one bar of 2/4, and towards the end we've got some accented notes. Now when you do an accent, they look like up bows on the side, accented notes. You're going to do a little bite before each note. Ba, ba. It's like saying a consonant. When you say a consonant, prepare, you've got to prepare. And it's like that when we do accents with our bow. Ba, 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 ba. We'll talk about that when I see you. And again, there's another rit before the very last bar. But in that, the last but one bar, the cellos will be doing pom, 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 pom. They'll be doing crotchets while the rest of us are doing semibreves. So your ears have to listen to those cello crotchets so that we know where to play our last note. Again, if I was conducting you, it would be so easy. That's the trouble. We have to rely on this click that we hear all the time. It's actually terribly unmusical, isn't it? But it's the only way we can play together. So when we all get back together in September, we hope, we will remind ourselves about following conductors. When you follow a conductor, you're using your ears to hear what everyone else is doing, but you're also using your eyes. When we're doing the click track, it's only our ears that we're using. So let's hope that we can get some pleasure from this though, and it'll be fun hearing it all put together and doing a concert, and it'd be nice to see each other as well. So I look forward to seeing you for our four sessions. Good, well done.